Have you ever had such a good night out that the next day you end up in a doctor's office with a speculum shoved inside you? So last year, lockdown had just ended. My friends and I decided we'd celebrate by going out to a local bar that had only recently just reopened. We get to the bar, we're a couple rounds in. I haven't drunk in a little while because I decided to just stop drinking during lockdown. So I spot a couple next to us with this massive bottle of wine, fuck off massive, this big. And I indicated to them, oh, where'd you get that bottle of wine from? And they said, there's a special on Magnum wine bottles tonight. And I was like, a special? Shit, I'm Italian, so I love wine, I'm very cheap, and I fucking love a deal. So I absolutely had to buy this Magnum bottle of wine. So my friend goes up to the counter, she orders the bottle of wine for us, very generous of her, and instead of just paying her back like a normal person would, our group decides, we fucking just came out of lockdown, let's all buy a bottle of wine. So we had a Magnum bottle of wine, which is 2 normal bottles of wine, if not more. And then we all bought a bottle of wine, and there's 8 of us, so it's a lot of wine. So we're drinking our wine, having a good time. We obviously get fucked up, beyond belief. I've never been so drunk in my whole life. And we decide to move on to another bar. My friend and I are getting shots. We're having such a good time, 50 bottles of wine down. It's all going well. And we end up at a cafe that is a 24-hour noodle cafe. You might know it because it's literally across the road. I won't name names. And just enjoying myself, having my little bowl of pho, loving it. And as I'm eating my noodles, I'm like, oh, I feel so unwell. Why? Why do I feel so bad? So I run to the toilet and I'm doing a wee. And as I'm on the on the toilet with my pants pulled down, I do a massive vomit, a massive vomit on the floor. I know, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I literally can see someone that used to teach me at uni in the audience. I'm so sorry. So, do a massive yak. And my friends are beautiful, and they call my boyfriend, and they're like, she's fucked. She's not okay. She's had too good of a time post-lockdown. You have to come get her immediately. And my boyfriend is gorgeous. And so, he just picked me up. It's not that exciting, but he picked me up from the bar. He picked me up from the noodle place, took me home. I did my skincare routine, took care of myself. I gouged my contacts out of my eyes, literally scarred my retina. And so went to sleep, put on my micellar, put on my silk eye mask. It was it actually turned out okay. So I go to sleep, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, oh, we rest now. And I'm having a beautiful sleep, and then it's 6 o'clock in the morning, and I wake up fuck! Literally Dracula, And I realised I never took my tampon out from the night before. I'm saying, yeah. I never took my fucking tampon out from the night before. And I got to the bar at 2 p.m. So it's been a while, guys. It's been a while. And I was like, oh my God. And I don't know what your high school sex ed education was like. Mine was interesting, but I really vividly remember my Year 10 teacher telling us that if you don't take out your tampon, you'll get toxic shock, your body will shut down, and your legs are falling off. Like, gone. So I was like lying in bed, realising what I'd done, and I was like, I'm feeling a fucking tingle. I was like, oh my God. Like, I absolutely could feel a tingle, and I was like, oh my, okay, it's not too late. Like, it's not too late. I was pretty sure the girl that my high school teacher told me about waited like 2 days. I waited like 1 day. So it should be okay. And so I raced to the bathroom. I'm at my boyfriend's house, my boyfriend's parents' house, and I go into the bathroom, lock the door, and I was like, okay, we need to be calm and we need to be fine because I just need to get it out. So take my tampon. Like, done it every day of my freaking life. Not every single day, but when required. So I'm kind of like, all right, looking, digging around, like, where's my tampon? And I was like, did I take it out? Am I that good? Like, I did my skincare routine. I took out my contacts. Maybe I am that good, and I did take it out. Then I was thinking back, and I was like, no, I definitely have not retrieved the tampon since 2 p.m. the day before. So then, obviously, I consult a medical professional, and I Google, where can tampon go? Because I was like, I've waited long enough. It's like travels. I was like, like, fuck. Where can tampon go? And I actually was like, oh, like maybe it has travelled up and it's in my intestines right now. My high school sex ed teacher failed me, obviously. And I was like, okay. When I did eventually Google it, Google was like, it can't go anywhere, you dumb bitch. Like, it's still in there. So I was like, okay, it's still in there. And like the next suggested search was, can tampon string break? And Google was like, yes, it can. And I was like, oh, my string broke. Like, oh my God, that's so annoying. So I was like, I have to do some exploration. And I reached up as far as I could go. Farther than I've ever gone before. And I was like, I have to retrieve my tampon. And part of my sense of urgency was not only the tingle that I could sense working its way up my body, but also the fact that the next day I was supposed to go to Kalbarri on a holiday. And I was like, in Kalbarri, I don't know if they have hospitals. Do they have roads in Kalbarri? Like, I've got no fucking idea. If I get toxic shock and my legs are really going blue, I can't go to the hospital in Kalbarri, I'll fucking die. The RAC helicopter won't get to me in time. So I was like, the sense of urgency was like immediate. So I do my exploration and I realise I cannot find my tampon. And then I was like, oh, I need a friend to help me, phone a friend. So I wake up my boyfriend. He didn't go out the night before. He should be fine. It's still like 6 o'clock in the morning. I wake him up and his name's Paul and I was like, Paul, please, something horrible's happened. I lost my tampon. It's in my body. I don't know where it is in my body, but it's in there and I have to get it out ASAP. He's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, unfortunately, you're the only one here that can help me. You have to look. He's like, what do you mean you have to look? And I was like, you have to go and you have to look for my tampon. And I was like sobbing. Because my legs were really feeling like not well. So Paul is probably related to Catherine because he has a headline. We're going to Kalbarri to go on walks and hikes. He's prepared. He's prepared for anything. So when I eventually had gotten on my back and taken off all my clothes and spread them, he put on the headlamp because he needed extra visibility. And we tried the iPhone torch already and it didn't work. So Paul's having a really good look. Really good. And he's like, Izzy, I can't see anything. And I was like, but I can feel it up there. And he was like, okay, like, I have a feel then. I was like, thank you. So he's got the headlight and he's really, like, gone for it. And at one point, he's like, I think I got it. And I was like, oh my God, okay, pull it out. And he starts pulling at something, and I was like, ugh. I think it was my cervix. He pulled my cervix out. So once I stopped bawling my eyes out, he was like, you need to just, like, go to the doctor. He's like, Izzy, I'm certain it's not in there, but you'll just feel better. You just go to the doctor, and this is their job. This is their job. So I was like, okay, you're right. So it's at this point a Sunday, like midday, and I was like, who the fuck's open on a Sunday? So I consult my good friend Google again and find that there's an appointment available in the next 15 minutes at Belmont Medical Centre, which is not near where I live at all. So I was like, fuck, got dressed, drove to Belmont Medical Centre, and I get to the waiting room. It's kind of like just after COVID lockdown, so we're still like, germs. So, I mean, we're all wearing masks right now. I go in there and people are like coughing, and it's like the most packed waiting room ever, and we're all sitting like close together, and it's just like grot energy, huge grot energy. And I wait there for about 45 minutes, in which time I can contemplate my life choices, reconsider where I'm going, the direction of my life, and then also think about what I need to pack for Kalbarri. And so eventually the doctor is ready and the receptionist calls my name and I go in, and as I walk in, the doctor is just the sweetest, gentlest, smallest woman I've ever seen. She's just a beautiful soul. I can just tell her energy is right. And I was like, oh, she's got my back. But also, I have to tell her why I'm here. So she's like, Isabella, what brings you here? And I was like, well, I went out last night and I had a big one. And I explained the whole story, and I told her about the headlamp, and I told her about everything. I told her about the Magnum. I was like, and it was this big. And she's like, okay, that's okay. We can work with this. So she gets me to go up on the medical bed, put my legs up, she whacks a speculum in, which, if you don't know, is like this thing that opens. And she's about to have a look, and she's like, oh, sorry, I don't have my light. And I was like, should have got a headlamp from BCF. But she goes out and she brings in this like big light, and then she's like, okay, we can start. And she's about to look, and she's like, oh, I didn't sterilise any of my long forceps. And I was like, what the fuck kind of medical centre is this? You don't have a light, you don't have forceps, like, what are you going to do for me? So she's like, if I find it, unfortunately I can't remove it, you'll have to attend the hospital. And I was like, okay. So she starts looking, she's having a very thorough look, a thorough examination, and she decides, no, it can't be in there. It's not in there, I've done everything, and your tampon's AWOL. And I was like... And I was like, just to confirm, it can't be. And she was like, no. Thank you. So she's sort of like, okay, tell me more about the night. And I kind of went back over it and got to the part where I was sitting in the cafe, vomiting on the toilet. And she's like, oh, Isabella, you've ejected the tampon as you were ejecting the alcohol. I was like, ah. So I literally vomited my tampon out. And so as I was driving back home, thinking about how I have to pack for Kalbarri, I was like, oh, that Magnum, that night, my poor boyfriend, was it all worth it? Yes, absolutely. Thank you.